The HOA board has determined this falls under common property access. You are in violation. Effective.
You can't just change the rules and.
Cold air hit my face and the sharp smell of fresh asphalt burned my nose when I opened my door and saw an orange HOA truck blocking my driveway, cones across my sidewalk, and men painting white lines to my front steps. The mixer roared. A guy with a clipboard waved me back and said it was a common area now, board approved. By noon they had jackhammered my old concrete, poured a new slab, and stuck a sign in the wet edge that said HOA common area. 2 days later I found a bright yellow ticket on my door for obstructing common property with my trash can, and I realized my life had become this mess. HOA paved half my sidewalk as common area and ticketed me for using it. Then I pulled the easement. The first fine was for $75. The second, $150, showed up because my son left his scooter leaning on the new curb. By the end of the week I had 7 violation emails and a warning that the next step was a lien. At the office, the manager used a sweet phone voice in person and told me the board would not reconsider. A neighbor muttered that he had paid his tickets because he did not want trouble. That was when I saw it was not just concrete. It was control, and they thought everyone would just fold. I tried to play nice. I sent calm emails with photos of my property stakes and the old survey from the kitchen drawer. No answer for days. When they finally replied, it was a cold form letter calling the paving a safety upgrade and warning that any more complaints could be treated as harassment. I drew a line in my head: no yelling, no petty revenge, just every proper channel I could find. If they wanted paper, I would drown them in it. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder, 1 page for every time they tried something new. The break came on May 3, 2024 at 9:00 p.m. when I sat at my kitchen table with cold coffee and opened the county website. On the plat map, the lines were simple. That shiny new slab was not HOA land and not mine. It was city right-of-way, an easement that had to stay open. I pulled the recorded documents from public records, every map and deed I could find, and my printer groaned as the file landed with 63 pages. In the middle was one perfect line: no part of this easement may be claimed as private or association common area. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted, and I realized patterns of fake land grabs can blow up too. I turned my kitchen into a war room. On the first page of my binder I wrote in big plain letters, Timeline Item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. That was when Karen, the board president, had security knock on my door because my trash can touch the new slab. Below it I added Timeline Item 2 April 12 violation number 3 for scooter on slab. I listed each ticket, each date, each email, and highlighted the parts that proved the HOA had paved city land and then billed me for obeying my own property line. By the next open meeting, my binder looked like a detective file, and I walked into that bland clubhouse room that smelled like burnt coffee ready to drop it on their folding table. They tried to rush the agenda, but I raised my hand and started talking before they could gavel me down. My voice stayed calm as I slid the binder to the center, open to the city logo and easement page. I explained that the HOA had poured concrete on city right-of-way, labeled it common area, and issued 7 fines on land they did not own. Then I read from an email from the city engineer saying the paving was unauthorized and must be removed at HOA expense. The room went quiet. Then phones came out. Within days, the city inspector showed up with trucks, measuring tape, and a clipboard. Neighbors watched while he stared at the HOA common area sign, shook his head, and wrote for a long time. That was the flip. The inspector called to say the city was issuing a violation to the HOA for encroaching on an easement and that every fine tied to that slab was invalid. At the next meeting, the same board that had ignored my emails had to read a short statement: all 7 violations gone, a credit of $375 on my account, the common area sign coming down, a penalty and new plan required. The city lawyer added that filing false trespass complaints about city land could lead to bigger problems. Karen resigned 2 weeks later. The crew tore up the wrong slab and poured a plain sidewalk like everyone else. Now my son rides his scooter there, neighbors smile and wave, and sometimes people point at that patch and grin because they remember the day the board got schooled by their own paperwork. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.